millimeter mortar. All right. The 81 millimeter mortar is not the largest indirect fire weapon system in the Army's arsenal. It is one of the smallest. It's actually the second smallest. The only thing smaller than it is the 60 millimeter mortar. So, that being said, it's not the most destructive, right? So you're not going to want to you're not going to want to use the 81 millimeter mortar on heavy armored vehicles. So your tanks, your BMPs, BTRs, right? Things like that, you're not going to do anything. If you get a direct hit, you may at most track it. So it's not even worth wasting the ammunition on trying to call fire mission on that. Or on those kind of targets. What's up?
I watched a video like on the mortars. It's like 2 mortar rounds, or it'll like level the house. So I think it'd be good for that.
Yeah, so yeah, building destruction. Now, once building destruction gets brought into the game and everything, then we're going to have to start implementing more ROE rules on unnecessary infrastructure damage. So that's going to be a different kind of situation in there than once that becomes a thing. But your primary targets are going to be infantry and trucks, right? Very light-skinned vehicles. Those are going to be things that you're going to want to primarily use for fire mission.
I have a question.
Stationary targets, right? Stationary targets because they're not moving. Fire missions can take a while, right? They can take anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes, depending on how quick they get the tubes laid on. So you have a question, Story?
Yeah, so will BTRs count, or the Mars can't go for it?
So, BTRs, I would not waste the ammo on BTRs.
Okay.
The mortar's only going to have so much ammo. A BTR, you could pop the tires on them, and if you get a direct hit, there's a chance you could set it on fire. But again, that's getting direct hit. Shima went through and did a lot of testing with the mortars. He said there's a 14-meter dispersion on the mortars when they're firing, so it's like a 14 square meter, right? Yeah, so you gotta throw a lot of rounds to try and get a direct hit. So vehicles in general, unless they're like the truck over here, or the UAZs that no armor, stuff like that, those you can call for fire because shrapnel has a good chance of penetrating those and killing the crew.
Okay.
But your primary targets for the mortars is going to be infantry. That's going to be your, like, what you're wanting to hit.
Okay.
You're not trying to destroy the trucks and everything with the mortars, you're trying to get the shrapnel to kill the infantry. So, like, infantry in the open, stationaries, are moving in a single direction at a steady pace and everything, right? Those are going to be your prime targets for this. And then for situations, at least for the infantry side, that you're going to want to use the fire mission, is if you're about to kick off an assault, right? So say you're about to assault an objective, you want to soften it up with some mortar fire, cause a little chaos amongst the defenders, and then launch the assault. Or if you're in the defense, right? If you're holding a position and the enemy are coming at you, that's a good time to use the mortars. Because their movements will be predictable. They're coming at you, you just sit there and observe the rounds and walk on and everything.
What about if like there's infantry dug into a spot and it's like really risky to send a squad in to clear them out? Could we use mortars for that?
So yeah, you can use mortars on entrenched infantry. It may not be as effective because the trenches are there to defeat the use or defeat the effectiveness of indirect fire. But using indirect fire on an entrenched enemy position is a good way to soften up those defenses, kind of cause a little chaos amongst the defenders, and then you immediately launch your assault on that position after the last round is fired. While there's still dust in the air, a little bit of chaos, people are still trying to collect themselves, and now all of a sudden they got infantry charging them.
Gotcha.
So yeah, an entrenched position is a good position to use it against, not as far as the effectiveness, but as far as causing a little bit of chaos. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Alright, so you guys open up that Google Doc for the call for fire transmission. We're going to go ahead and go through this story, like I said, I posted in the aviation chat for you
I saw it.
Alright? So the way this is going to start, like I said, once you get authorization to call for the fire mission, you're going to swap over to the FDC net, whatever radio frequency the mortars are using for their FDC net. Then you're going to call them and say, "You, this is me," whatever. I don't know what fucking call sign Nix is going to have. We'll say Apollo 6 for this situation, right? So it'll be Apollo 6. This is Spartan 1 fire mission. And then after you say fire mission, that's when you're going to designate what type of round, right? So whether it's HE, so for high explosive, smoke for concealing positions, or loom for illumination rounds, right? Those are the 3 type of rounds that we're going to have access to. So in that first transmission, you're going to say fire mission HE, right? And we're using high explosive trying to kill something. After that, you're going to follow up with the grid of the target. All right, so grid, 6-digit grid that we pull from the map, and then we're using the keypad system. All right, so for those who do not know what the keypad method is, you guys know what your keypad on your phone looks like, right? When you pull up your phone, dial a phone number, you got 1, 2, 3 across the top, 4, 5, 6 down the middle, 7, 8, 9 across the bottom. You're taking that setup and essentially overlaying it over these small grid squares of your map, right? So if you pull out your map and you zoom all the way in, and you get these smaller grid squares to pop up, inside that smaller grid square, you're going to draw the imaginary lines of equal thirds all the way down and all the way across for 1, 2, 3, down the middle, 4, 5, and 6, and then across the bottom, 7, 8, 9. Makes sense?
So we're basically just making smaller squares for the smaller squares.
Yes, you're
That's
making
confusing.
smaller squares for the smaller square.
That's very confusing in my head.
Okay, so to help break it down, so when you pull up you literally take out your phone right now, pull up your keypad like you're about to dial a phone number, and then you see how you got 1, 2, 3 across the top, 4, 5, 6 through the middle, 7, 8, 9 across the bottom. Just imagine that overlaid over these smaller grid squares.
Okay, so where Alice read 1, will that be like a number of itself in that square?
Sorry, one more time, what's your question?
If it, like, Alice read 1, we're down between 56 and 57, that square that we're on, that would be a keypad? Like a keypad 2 or 3 or whatever?
Yep, whatever one, like, again, it's imaginary, so you're just kind of imaginarily putting their squares in here, so nobody's going to, give you too much shit for being, off by a single keypad or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So no one's going to, be like, "Oh, no, that's keypad 2, not keypad 3, you idiot." No one's going to do that, because, again, we're imagining these fucking smaller squares. The reason that we are doing this is because other than using the protractor, which using the protractor is very complicated in the game on the map, especially for console players. The protractor is kind of a bit of a pain in the ass to line up exactly, trying to get the numbers and all that. We're using the keypad method because it is faster and it still gets you a more accurate position than just the 6-digit grid, right? The 6-digit grid, these small grid squares, they are a 100-meter square radius, all right? It's a 100-meter square box. So if you just give a 6-digit grid for your fire mission, they're going to land anywhere within that 100-meter square radius, and that's not very accurate. So we're using the keypad method because then that breaks it down from a 100-meter square radius to a 33.33333 repeating square meter radius, right? So that's where we are, right? We're at 056 by 073 keypad. What did I say? Fucking, I think 5. Let me double check my notes. Yeah, keypad 5. That's going to be anywhere. Basically a 33-meter square radius in the middle of 056 by 073. Whereas if we just said 056 by 073, that's a 100-meter radius. That could be down the hill from us, that could be other side of this field from us, right? So keypad method is just to get a more precise location on the map faster than having to mess with the protractor and trying to do it, the old school way. Any questions on the T-pad method before I continue on?
It's going to take some time and practice, but I understand a lot better with that.
Yeah, it does. It does take some time to practice. Like I said, just imagine. That's why so a lot of it took us a lot of debating on whether using like your phone's keypad or using a mouse and keyboard keypad. Because the mouse and keyboard keypad is reverse, right? They have 7, 8, 9 across the top. Was it 3, 4, 5 down the middle, or 4, 5, 6 down the middle, 1, 2, 3 across the bottom. We decided to go with the phone keypad because everybody has a phone. Everyone has a cell phone that can look at the keypad, as opposed to not everybody has a mouse and keyboard where they can look at the keypad.
Will
So
they
if you're
draw
confused,
the...
what's that?
Sorry to interrupt. Will they draw like a keypad 1 all the way to keypad 9 to give a little idea, or we got to make it up as we go?
You gotta make it up. We're not gonna draw the keypads on every single grid square or anything.
Oh, okay.
That take way too much time. That's why we said it's imaginary. It's gonna get you within 30-ish meters of your target using that system. So from there you can walk the rounds on. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get used to it and everything. So. Okay, alright, so carrying on. Oh, excuse me. So after you relay the grid to the FDC, the next part of that transmission is going to be your target. Alright, so you're going to say target, whatever you're shooting at, and then a brief description of the terrain they're in. Alright, so for example, infantry in the open, or truck in the wood line, right? Just a brief description of what kind of target they are shooting at, and then that way, and then also like what kind of terrain they're around, because then that's telling them, one, how many rounds it's going to need to take for them to possibly destroy that target. So that's kind of something for their essay. That way they can just kind of start pre-planning ahead how much they're going to need to shoot at this target. All right. So the entire first transmission is going to sound like this. Apollo 6, this is Spartan 7, fire mission, HE, grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, T-pad 1, target, infantry in the open, over. Right. That is the entire first transmission of the call for fire transmission. Once you send that, the FDC is going to repeat that entire transmission to make sure that... I apologize, my boys are sword fighting with wrapping paper right now.
You're fine.
Yes, the FDC is then going to repeat that entire transmission to you to make sure that they copied all the information correctly. So he's going to say verbatim the exact same thing. Obviously, not the fucking call signs. He's going to flip the call signs and everything. But fire mission, HE, grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, T-pad 1, target, infantry in the open, how copy. After he says that, you're going to say good copy to confirm that he copied everything correctly. The next transmission is going to be from the FDC announcing shot. All right, shot means the guns are firing. All right, and then he's also going to tell you the time of flight. All right, so this is him letting you, hey, we got the guns in on, we're firing. Time of flight is going to be 30 seconds. Start observing, so that way you can make the corrections. That's the point of that message. All right, so it's going to be shot, time of flight, 30 seconds. So it tells you as the observer, all right, I got 30 seconds before that sensing round comes in, right? So every fire mission, so a sensing round, right? Every fire mission is going to be led off with sensing rounds. So sensing rounds is one round at a time. They're going to fire, they're going to fire one round at a time. Once you make your first call to see where it lands, make sure your grid is correct, make sure the keypad is correct, make sure you're on target. All right. So that's your sensing round. With your sensing round, if you need to make any adjustments, if you need to, shift where you're aiming, that's the point of it, is it's going to show you where the guns are landing, and you can tell them to make the adjustments from there. So once that round lands, say it was off a little bit, you need to adjust it. Your next transmission is going to be adjust, and you're going to give a cardinal direction. All right. For anyone who may know the transmissions, we're not doing up, down, or we're not doing add, drop, left or right, right? Because that requires more math to be done from their side, and it's unnecessary. We don't want to do it as a video game. So we're just going to do cardinal directions, and then distances and increments of 50 meters. All right. If you, so it'll sound, say you landed just a little bit, west of your target by like 50 meters or whatever, your adjustment transmission is going to be at just east 50 meters. All right, because it landed west, so you need to adjust it to the east. So that's telling them, okay, we landed west of the target, we need to bring the guns back in to make it land east by 50 meters. They're going to make their adjustments. They're going to fire another sensing round. FTC will repeat that transmission back to you when you tell them the adjustments. They're going to repeat it back to you. Anytime you tell the guns an adjustment, a grid, anything, they're going to repeat it back to you to make sure that they copy the information correctly. So yeah, once they make their adjustments, they're going to fire another sensing round. You're going to announce shot, time of flight, 30 seconds. And then say this next round lands on target or within 25 meters of the target, you're going to call for fire for effect. All right? Fire for effect is telling them, hey, you're on target, fire everything. They're going to have a predetermined number of rounds that are going to be for their fire for effect missions. I don't know what that number is. They're still working that out, depending on how many rounds come with the guns, how many tubes they're going to set up, all that stuff. But fire for effect is they're going to fire however many rounds they have set aside for that mission, trying to kill that target. So it'll be the same announcement. You'll call fire for effect. You'll repeat, Roger, fire for effect. Shot, time of flight, 30 seconds. Right. After the fire for effect is over, and we will know the number for fire for effect rounds before every op. That'll be part of every op board. That way you know how many rounds you should be expecting to see land. That way you know when the last round has landed. Once the last round has landed, you're going to do a end of mission report. All right, an end of mission is basically saying how you end a fire mission. Right, end of mission. That's how you say, all right, hey, we're done with this fire mission. We don't need you guys to fire on the start anymore. So the end of mission report is going to sound like this. End of mission. After announcing the mission, you're going to say the effective that the fire mission had on the target. So target destroyed, target damaged, no effect, whatever it was. And then you're going to estimate the number of enemy casualties. All right, so say you shot at a infantry team, right? So a team's 4 guys. So end of mission, target destroyed, estimate 4 enemy KIA. All right. Anybody have any questions about any of that?
Nope.
Are we doing repeat fire missions or not?
So yes, when you do the end of mission, well, I guess that would be before. So after the fire for effect, if you want them to repeat that fire mission, basically have them shoot that fire for effect again, you come over the radio and you say repeat, right? This is why we always say don't say repeat over the radio, because when you say repeat over the radio, that's telling a gun crew to fire their previous fire mission. That's why everyone is like, that's why repeat is such a no-no word on the radio.
Is that why we say again last?
Yeah,
so we don't say repeat?
Yep.
Okay.
Because if you say repeat, if there is a gun crew listening, they're going to fire that last fire mission without asking any questions.
Oh shit, that's scary if that does happen.
Yes.
I can see why we don't say that then.
Yeah, so say you're fire for effect, you had good results, you got some damage, but you're not quite satisfied with it. You just hop back on the radio real quick. Before calling the end of mission, you'd say repeat, and they're just trying to fire another full cell, another full fire for effect. And then you go into your mission.
For some reason, I can see that happening. I don't know why.
For the most part, Wendy and I aren't going to be doing these fire missions. For the most part, it's going to be the team leaders and the squad leaders, because you guys are the ones that are in the ground actively in the fight. Wendy and I are trying to pull ourselves a little bit more away from being in the fight, and give you guys more independence and let you guys, do things on your own without us being in your hip pockets. So for the most part, these fire missions are going to be called up from the team leaders and squad leaders. But yeah, also another thing, right? Say your fire mission was in a very good position that you think you could use it again, alright? When you are calling, like, say you called it on a three-way intersection that the enemy used pretty frequently, and you want to be able to, and you think you're going to be calling another fire mission in that same spot. When you're calling the end of mission, you can also request to save that fire mission as a TRP, a target reference point, for later on fire missions, right? You just add it on to the end of mission, so end of mission, target destroyed, estimate 4 enemy KIA, request to save as TRP. Basically that's telling the FDC, hey, write down all the calculations for this fire mission right now, the azimuth, the mils, everything. Write down all these calculations, so that way, if we ever need to come back to this fire mission, we already have it all saved and can just jump straight into an immediate fire for effect on it. And so they're going to copy down all that information, and then they're going to just give you a TRP number. They're going to give you a control number for that TRP. For you to write down, that way you always know it, because they have TRPs for every guy or every unit that they're doing fire missions for, right? So they could give you like TRP number 1001, right? When our own internal TRPs are only up to like 5 or whatever, right? So they're going to give you their own TRP control number and everything, just because they're tracking TRPs for everybody. And then, like I said, say later on in the mission, you want to call another fire mission on that exact same spot. You just call it, you grab up the fucking radio, Apollo 6, it's Spartan 1, fire mission HE, TRP 1001, right? Instead of giving the grid, you're going to give the TRP.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you're talking to the grid, do you go by the top first and then the left side, or the left side and then the top?
You go by the top ones and then the left ones.
Okay.
Along the corridor up the stairs.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for example, our position, we're in 056 by 073, right? So you read a map right and up. And well, right and up's kind of confusing. It's just how it's always been taught to me. So you go right, so you're going to stop at the first line that your grid square is at. And then, coming from the left side of the map, you're going to go all the way right. So we're in 056 by 073, right? So the 056 is the first line on our grid square that you hit coming from the left of the map. So that is going to be your easting grid line for our position. And then for up, you start at the bottom of the map and you do the same thing. You go up until you hit the first line of our grid square. So you start at the bottom map and you go up. The first line for our grid square you're going to hit is the 073 grid line. That's going to be your northing for our position.
Mm. Yes.
It's a little confusing.
I was about to say, I think I just need more practice on it.
Yeah, when looking at our grid square, go left and down.
Okay.
So yeah, if you know, like, based on where you're at in the terrain and everything, if you know what grid square you're in, go left and down. Look at the left line and then go down and look at the bottom line.
So right now we would be in 056 by 073.
Yes.
Okay. That makes a whole lot more sense then.
Yeah, reading maps can be confusing. It's definitely a perishable trait, or a perishable skill, I should say. If you don't do it often and frequently, you lose the confidence in being able to do it. It's definitely something that you get more comfortable with the more you do it, as you do it over time and everything. You can do it for years, and then you stop for a year, you come back to it, and you have no idea what you're doing.
That's how the story goes.
Definitely a perishable skill and something you have to do frequently in order to remain good at. Alright, so does anybody have any questions about the call for fire transmission? Again, this is just a brief overview of it, just giving you guys the outline of it so you know what it's like. Because when the new update does release and we do get orders, we will be doing actual call for fire trainings, where we're going to have the mortars set up and you guys are going to actually work, like do fire missions, that way you can train on it and get practice with it. So this is just kind of giving you a warm-up for it, so that way, when we do get to that, we're not having to do all of this process there.
Okay.
Any questions about the transmission?
Not on my end.
Okay. If later on down the road you guys do come up with any questions or anything, I'm always up. My DMs are always open. Feel free to message me, put it in the Discord somewhere. Myself or Nix or Wendy or anybody else who's gotten this training so far can help answer those questions. Right?
What's the splash on the mortars?
So
I thought he said 14.
So that's the dispersion. Dispersion is every time the mortar fires, or sorry, deviation, not dispersion.
Okay.
Every time the mortar fires, the rounds, they don't land in the exact same spot. They can spread over that 14-meter square radius.
Okay.
From what Nixis said for Shima's testing, it has a kill radius of 35 meters. I don't know how much truth it is behind that or anything. Again, this is just the numbers that I was given when I was getting the information from Nix. So
That's a huge radius.
They're saying that they have a kill radius of 35 meters. I'm thinking that's more of a injure radius, not necessarily a kill, because kill radius is anything within that radius is immediately dead. 35 meters is a pretty large kill radius.
I was about to say, that seems pretty big.
Yeah. So again, once we do get the mortars and actually start doing these fire missions, we're going to refine this and narrow things down a little bit more. But I would say 35 meters is a good injure radius. Anything within 35 meters of the round is going to be guaranteed to be injured. Alright. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about the call for fire transmission, you have the cheat sheet. I highly encourage using the cheat sheet when we do start calling for fire and everything. That way you guys get practice behind it, and you have it to look at when you're doing it. That way you're not having to try and remember this. But okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the second part of the training. I forgot to place something down real quick. Let me do this. Alright, so, sure, gotta give you your left and right limits. Alright, that one, and... Alright, so, if you look over here behind us on the road, out there in the field, I've set up 5 different targets, alright? So you've got a team of 4 dismounts, a Birdum on its side, a BTR on its side, a truck on its side, and then a truck facing forward. Alright, so you're going to be looking for these 5 different targets. Once somebody finds one of the targets, pull out your compass and just announce what azimuth you're looking at, so that way everybody can look at that same target. And then what we're going to do is you guys are going to try and pull a 6-digit grid with a keypad number for that target. This is kind of getting you used to, or getting you more practice with identifying a target's position on the map solely off of the terrain you see around it. Alright? But once you guys are got warm and comfy, what the targets look like, come back over here to the sandbag wall. Everything is going to be within these 2 windbreakers, alright? So if you find yourself like looking outside the windbreakers, like over here or whatever, you're not going to see any targets, alright? All your targets are going to be within the left and right limits of these 2 windbreakers. So go ahead and start scanning for your targets. Once someone finds one, just shout out what azimuth you're looking at, so that way everybody can look at the same target.
Alright, truck facing towards us, 285.
In the pile of garbage up the hill.
What was that?
that front of a truck, is it between the ruined house and two piles of garbage up on the hill?
I wasn't looking. Yeah, between the two sets of tyres to the left of the tree line. Sorry, correction, right of tree line.
I was about to say, I'm seeing right of tree line, not left.
Ghost, you see what they're looking at too?
Yeah, it's about 390 on azimuth. No, not
Yep.
390, 290.
Okay, alright, so now what you guys are going to do, so everyone's looking at the same target, go ahead and try and figure out where that is on the map, and then we'll go, once everyone like has a good idea of where it is, we'll go each person down the line, see what you guys are guessing, and then I'll let you guys know how close you are, or how far off you are, okay? So go ahead and try and figure out on the map where that is.
052. Oops, sorry.
We're gonna wait for everybody to have a couple minutes to try to figure it out, and then we'll have you all go.
Lord, I'm going to suck at this.
Apologies.
Well, no worries. That's why we're doing this, right? This is to get you practice with having to do this, because especially for aviation, you're going to be doing this from the air while moving around, right? So the more practice you can get at this, the better that you're going to be at it.
I think I have it.
This isn't a test, I'm not gonna go tell Jesus you sucked at trying to find grids or anything like that. This is solely training. This is just to get you guys more practice doing this.
Yep. I think I have it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I do too. Boy, hang on.
Alright, so alright, Ghost, what do you got? What do you think it's at?
I want to say it's about. Oh. About 05074. Keypad 4. Sorry.
Alright, LB, what do you say?
So 050075. Keypad 4, yeah.
Alright, and then story?
Jesus.
I think Obi's right.
054 by 075. Nope, hold on, nope, I messed up. 054074, my bad.
What keypad are you guys say?
I was nowhere close, wasn't I?
No, so you were off by 4 grids first. So here, so what do you see around that target right now? Kind of give you a
T intersection road.
Yeah, okay, so you got the three-way intersection, T intersection right in front of it, right? So that is, as you can see from here, a dirt road, so it's not a major road, so you know it's not going to be the big...
Yeah, I undershot that way too bad.
Or one of these smaller yellow roads, so it's going to be one of the brown roads on the map, right? And then you take your compass, shoot the azimuth, so that's, practically almost direct west from our position. So you pull out your map, you know where we are, and you look, west-ish from us, till you find the dirt road with a three-way intersection. And then you know that target is just beyond it, to the west. Alright, so that's kind of how you help figure out the grid square you're going to be looking in for your target, okay? Makes sense, story?
Yeah, fuck me, I keep overthinking that shit. No, I think OB's right. It's 050076. Because there's that wood line over there.
Yeah,
I just
so
over...
This is This is solely to get you guys more practice doing this.
Mm. No, I just keep overthinking that shit. I need to stop doing
No
that.
sweat. No sweat.
Don't sweat it. That's it. So this isn't like we're not doing anything crazy with this. This is just you guys finding the grid and seeing how close you are, getting you more practice with using terrain association to try and find a target on the map. All right. But for that target, it is at 050 by 075 keypad 5. So you guys were close. All right. You're
I was nowhere
close
close.
you were definitely close enough to where, or for a fire mission, to where you can walk the rounds on the target. Alright, you can just make the adjustments and walk the rounds on target. But alright, so, one target down. You got 4 more out there. Who's got the next one?
I found the BRDM about 310.
Alright, everybody look 310. Let's make sure we're all looking at the same target.
On its side.
Is that really within the wind? The one thing, the border? That seems too.
All targets are within the left or right limits of the board. But the BRDM that he's looking at is at 310 degrees.
Well, I see the BTR. I see that one.
Okay, yeah, let's do the BRDM first.
I don't see no BTR. I see BTR, but I don't see.
It's there's a tree line. It's right outside the tree line.
Oh, I was looking at the left. There you go. Yeah, I found it.
Okay, so everybody's now looking at the BRDM. Go ahead and try and find the grid and keypad on the map of what that target is.
It's northwest.
Yeah.
Let's use terrain association, alright? So we know it's right next to a bunch of boulders with some woods. So if we look on the map, slightly to our northwest, and we can look for a random bit of woods in the middle of the clearing with some rocks and everything. Let's try to use that kind of information to help narrow our search on the map down to a specific point.
Are we waiting for you to fucking say you're ready?
Does everyone have an idea of what the grid is?
Yep.
Okay, no worries.
No, I said yeah, not no.
Oh, okay. Alright. Obi, you have an idea?
051077 keypad 5.
Okay. Story, what do you think?
Dadgummit. Oh no, I gotta find it again. My cursor got me jacked up on the map. There we go. 051 by 077, keypad 3.
Okay, and then Ghost.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I agree with Obi. It's 051077 keypad 5.
Alright, so all of you are really close, sir. It is actually 051 by 077 keypad 2. So you guys were within all of you, right? Even story called keypad 5, right? Keypad 3. Keypad 3 is just to the east of it. So all of you were within that 50-meter requirement.
That's
for
confusing.
So good job, guys. Right? You guys did really good with that one. All right. You got 3 more targets out there. Let's see who can find next one. Story, you said you saw that BTR, right?
Yeah.
What's the?
It's on the left. It's on the dirt road on the left. Give me a second. West, directly west.
I have eyes on.
Yeah.
Yes, directly west.
Oh, you got the BTR?
Nope.
It's directly west. Use your compass. Directly west. You can see it. It's on an open field with a little bit of trees in front of it.
In front of the dirt road.
Yeah, same thing.
Alright, let's go ahead and start pulling a grid with the keypad for that target. Okay, here's the information you know, right? So you guys said it's directly west of our position. You said it's on a dirt road. So that should help you narrow down to at least what grid square you're looking at.
I have grid and square.
Yep.
Alright, once everyone's fuzzy, let me know.
Yeah, give us 30 seconds. Yeah.
Alright, so story, what do you think the grid that is for that PTR?
050 by 073 keypad 0.
So, so we don't do, so no keypad 0, it's just 1 through 9.
1 for 9. Then keypad 8.
Keypad 8, okay. Ghost, what do you say?
050 by 073 keypad 5.
Alright, and then Obi?
050 073 keypad 4.
You said keypad 4?
Yeah.
Alright. Ghost got it correct. It is actually keypad 5. But again, all of
That doesn't make any sense with the keypad then. I'm confused then.
well, so you said keypad 8. Keypad 8 is directly below keypad 5, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So well, that's the thing. It's at keypad 5. It's in the middle of the grid square. Keypad 8 would be the bottom row of the grid square of the 3, but you'd split it into thirds.
That's
I wish I had a image.
that still doesn't make any sense in my head.
So, like, whenever you split, so whenever you zoom all the way out of your map, it breaks it into 2 or 4-digit grids. If you zoom in, it splits it into smaller ones. I don't know, I can't, about like 10 of them. So,
Well-
in between those, in that 10 grid squares, you're going to find that 1, and it's going to be broken into 3 more small, or 9 more smaller squares. Top 3 are 1, 2, 3. Bottom 4, the bottom 3 are 7, 8, 9 in the middle, or sorry. Let me rephrase that again, sorry. I can't talk today. Top are 1, 2, 3, middle is 4, 5, 6, then the bottom row is 7, 8, 9. 0 is out of the equation for this.
I hate to sound like a dumbass, but that's still not making sense in my head.
Gotcha. So,
So you're not sounding dumb. Again, like I said, this is
You're gonna have to like draw a picture because I understand what you're saying, but in my head it does not make any sense at all. How that? Because Raccoon Rock, you said that was keypad 2, but the way you're explaining it sounds like everything around Raccoon Rock, like on the board, is keypad 5. So it's not cluing in my head.
So give me 1 second. I think I have a picture somewhere.
Because I'm like down in 050075, that was keypad 5. And if we're going by up north of Raccoon Rock is keypad 2. In my head, I'm thinking below there is 8. Because like you said about the phone thing, that's why I did keypad 3 on Raccoon Rock.
The phone thing is for the smallest grid squares. So when you zoom all the way in and you have the small grid square, right? The 6-digit grid square. That's when you're going to do the phone thing over that individual grid square. So it's just going to be over the smaller individual 6-digit grid squares. It's not going to be over the larger ones or anything. So each of the individual grid squares are going to have their own individual keypad squares in them to make them smaller and give you the opportunity to make get a more accurate grid. I think I have a fucking picture somewhere. Hold on.
I may just need a picture because I'm trying to understand it, but it's just not cluing in my head.
Yeah, give me.
Because the only squares I see is the little ones when you zoom in, and when you zoom out, it goes bigger.
The
you want to
keypad is going to be imaginary. The keypad squares are imaginary.
Right.
They're not.
Imagining the keypad squares over these smaller grid squares.
So inside the smallest square, you're going to like draw. You're going to put it into the six or thirds. So there's going to be 3 boxes on the top and then 3 boxes in below, and then you're just going to fill it in. Yeah. So you know where the numbers are.
I do apologize. I'm not doing this on purpose, right?
There's no need to apologize, right? There's no need to apologize. Like I said, this is to get you comfortable with this system. So if you have questions, you want to go over other stuff, right? This is the time to do it.
Right. I don't want to accidentally screw it up when the time arises and I fuck that up.
Story, you have your map open?
Yeah, I have my map open. I'm looking at it.
All right.
So
So
you've got a random grid square as far in as you can go.
So back to 050075. That's keypad 5. I go by 3 squares. That's keypad 5, bottom and top.
So what was the grid square?
050075, you said?
Yeah, from the first one we did.
Gotcha. So inside that grid square that you just listed, you're gonna make 9 imaginary boxes inside of that.
Okay.
The first 3 going left from right are gonna be 1, 2, 3. Inside the middle, you're gonna list those left to right as 4, 5, 6. And then the bottom 3 left to right is 7, 8, 9.
Okay. So how come the second one we went to, up north of Raccoon Rock on the right side, how come that was 2 and not 3?
Because it was just inside
a little bit
between.
closer. So 2 would be right up against the wood line at the top of that individual smaller 6-digit grid square, whereas 3 would be the top right corner of that individual little grid square.
Daggum.
So you see where Raccoon Rock is, right?
Actually, I might be able to. Let me see. Let me try this.
But do you get where I'm coming from with my logic?
No,
Yeah, I get you.
You're
Yeah, I
good.
get you.
Don't worry about it. Here, let me see. Give me 1 second. I might be able to help you out with this. So these are going to be circles. I can't do squares. Actually, I can't do squares. Hold on. They're not going to be, perfectly accurate squares to the sizing, but it'll help. All right, so 1. 2, 6.
When you zoom in completely, like down, like where you just see Raccoon Rock, does it give you smaller grids?
No,
It only breaks down to the 6-digit. It will not give you the keypad like what we were talking about.
I meant the grid. Like, does it split more? Because I know when you zoom out, it goes bigger, and when you zoom in, it minimizes. Is there like a third minimizer?
No, there's only 2 grid square types. I feel like I think there's only 2 grid square types. But inside the smallest grid type, you're gonna draw 9 boxes.
Oh! You mean to tell me 1 square alone you treat it like a keypad? That 1 square.
Yes.
Oh! Oh, okay.
2 smaller squares that look like a keypad.
You seeing how I'm putting it now?
Yes.
Raccoon Rock.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, that explains it.
Again, it's imaginary. We're asking you to imagine the squares and everything.
Right. I didn't think that's what you meant. I thought you meant 1 square alone was a keypad, not 9 in 1 keypad alone. I didn't know. Okay.
Do not worry about it, right? Like I said, this is all part of the training. This is to help you figure this stuff out now, so that way when we go to do this and actually actually do it, you'll have it figured out. You're not trying to figure it out then.
Right. Okay. I understand a lot better now. All right. That explains a whole lot.
Go ahead and delete these now. Just SE.
Yeah, I'm glad you took. I'm glad you draw that because that made a whole lot more sense when you did that.
Glad I was able to help you figure it out. Perfect.
I'm sorry it took a while. I really am.
Don't worry about it. There's no need to apologize, right? Like I said, that's the whole point of this training.
Right.
So there's no need to apologize. I'm just glad that we were able to help you figure it out, and now you actually understand it, right?
Right. Yep.
All right, so we got 2 more targets out there, gentlemen. Let's see
I
what
have
we can
eyes
find.
on infantry dismounts, about 380, about 280, sorry.
All right, everybody got eyes on the infantry.
Yep. You can see them stick out.
Let's go ahead and start trying to pull up our grid for them.
Right beyond the lowest point.
All right. While you guys are working on pulling the grid for them, this for the infantry. All right, so story, this doesn't really apply for you guys in aviation a whole lot. This is mostly for us down in the infantry. This is going to be about the minimum distance that we will call for fire at. All right, so about 200 meters. Anything within 200 meters, we're not going to do a fire mission for, just because we don't want to risk the chance of the deviation of the rounds, how far the shrapnel can travel and everything. We don't want to risk incidents of friendly fire with our own artillery, right? So, no. But for the 81 millimeter mortar, 200 meters is going to be our limit for call for fire, all right?
Is that including smoke rounds?
So smoke rounds you will not want to call on yourself. Smoke rounds are Willie P.
That's right. Bit of spicy skin.
I have a grid squared.
Alright, everybody got a grid for the dismounts.
Yep.
Alright, let's go. Obi, what do you think the grid is?
054073 keypad 9.
Keypad 9?
Yeah.
Alright. Story, what do you think?
055 by 073 keypad. I want to say it's either 5 or 6 on the keypad.
Alright. And then Ghost?
Never mind, I lost my, I was a wrong grid square. So,
Let's see what you can work up.
I want to say possibly 05407. No, it's way too. Yeah, actually. Yeah, 05407 keypad 2.
Alright. So this one is a little bit of a tricky one. Alright, that's why I did it. The grid is 054 by 073 keypad 3. Alright.
The map was throwing me off on that.
So, like I said, this one's a tricky one, right? Open field. Not a whole lot of identifiable features on a map to really use, alright?
So you've got the fence line.
Yeah, so, yep. Alright, so perfect, that's where I was going. Alright, so you got the fence line. Everyone sees where the fence line ends, like over behind the trees to the left of that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, looking at that corner of the fence line and your targets, they are obviously to the right, which is going to be north, and then past it, like beyond it, so that's going to be to the west. So you're going to move north by northwest, as they are further north than they are west of it. So you're going to look at the corner of the fence line on the map, which is basically right on the 055 easting. You're going to go north by northwest of it, and then you'll ballpark it. That's going to put you in grid square 054 by 073, either keypad 6 or keypad 3.
It looks more on keypad 6.
Well, so I said that they're actually in keypad 3, but that's from the center guy. That's from the guy right in the middle at the tip of the wedge. So
okay.
your left guy, yeah, your left guy there, he's probably down in keypad 6. They're very much right on the edge of keypad 3 and keypad 6. They're just, the majority of them are in keypad 3.
Damn, I keep overthinking this.
Do you want to know how dumb I am? Steve?
Jesus. I just keep on overthinking it.
So, you see the little tree patch at 055075?
Yep.
I thought those trees in front of those guys were that is part of that tree line.
Yep. So that's another thing, right? Not every bit of vegetation, terrain feature, everything is on the map, right? The map's not always going to be 100% accurate. Like you can see, that little shaded bit in front of them on the map. That's going to be that little defilade down there in front of us, with those rocks and those trees down in it. But again, it's not showing the trees on the map. So that's why look for all the different terrain features, all the different structure features, anything that you can use to help narrow down where your target is, right? Also, the azimuth, right? All you guys shot the azimuth to those infantry. You knew they're slightly more west of our position, but still rather, west-ish. That can still get you looking in at least the right direction of the map, right? So when it comes to finding these targets on the map and everything, you gotta pull all this different information to help you calculate where it's going to be on the map. Right, so there's one last target out there. It's the truck on its side. Anybody see it? This one's kind of hidden.
I just keep overthinking this shit.
Well, so like I said earlier, right? This kind of stuff, it's a perishable skill, and it's one thing that the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and the better you get at it.
Right. I would imagine the truck would be on the road, if anything.
I'll give you guys a tip. He's getting gas.
He would be on the left side because there's a town on the left. I got trees in my way, though. I can't see shit. Oh, I found it.
Gas.
Yep, I found it. It is...
What's your azimuth?
It's west 42, 240.
Does everybody see the truck?
Eyes on, gotcha.
Yep.
Obi?
Yeah,
Alright, let's go ahead and start working up a grid to that position. See what we get.
This one should be easy because it's like right in the middle of the farm.
I wouldn't jinx it.
Yep.
I would not jinx it.
I have a grid square that might be correct.
Alright, Obi, you got a grid square?
yep.
Or grid coordinate, I should say. And then story?
Yep.
Alright, we'll go with Ghost. What did you think it's at?
051070 keypad 2.
Alright, story?
051 to 070 keypad. It's between 2 and 3, between them.
Yeah.
Okay. And Obi?
051 070 keypad 2. Keypad 3.
Okay. Yeah, it is keypad 3.
Huh.
But like you were right, or like you said, it's really borderline. It's right between there. If you call keypad 2 or keypad 3, either of those answers would have been wrong. Because again, right, this is for call for fire, right? Keypad 2 would have landed at just maybe behind that building on the right there. Then you guys were like, oh, fucking adjust east 50 fire for effect. But you guys got it, right? That one kind of an easier position because it's in, like you said, it's in the middle of the farm. It's right next to that gas tank. The gas tank is put on the map. That that one was definitely the easiest one for finding the grid. So, good job, guys. That is going to conclude it. You guys got all the targets. Glad story we were able to help you get more comfortable with the